Breaking news alert for Viking Nation. The storm is brewing in purple and gold, and you're not ready for the thunder that's about to shake Dublin. 5 seismic revelations have just erupted from the heart of Minnesota that will redefine everything you thought you knew about this Warrior franchise. A practice squad hero rises from the shadows to answer the battle call. A defensive legend faces his toughest trial in purple. A coach reveals the ancient formula that separates champions from pretenders. A front office mastermind eyes a secret weapon hiding in the frozen north. And an enemy quarterback whines about luxury travel while our Vikings prepare for war on foreign soil. Each of these shocks could determine whether this season becomes legend or nightmare, whether skull chants echo through eternity or fade into bitter silence. The first revelation is about to detonate inside US Bank Stadium and beyond. Because when Aaron Jones fell, another Warrior stepped forward. And what happened next proves that Viking blood runs deeper than any single name on a jersey. If you bleed purple more than you fear the Packers, hit that subscribe button right now and let the football world know that no storm can break the Viking spirit. But hold your war horns, because the first bombshell isn't just about one player replacing another. It's about the resurrection of a running back who traveled through NFL purgatory and emerged reborn in Minnesota purple. The Minnesota Vikings have elevated Cam Akers from the practice squad for the second consecutive week, and this isn't just roster management. This is destiny calling. When Aaron Jones crumbled with that hamstring injury against Atlanta, when the Falcons thought they had broken our ground game, when doubters whispered that our championship dreams died on that artificial turf, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah had already planted the seeds of revenge. Akers didn't just sign with Minnesota after being cast aside by Los Angeles. He joined a brotherhood, a philosophy, a way of war that transforms discarded weapons into instruments of destruction. Last week against Cincinnati, he carried the rock 5 times for 19 yards that felt like 19 hammer blows to the soul of every team that gave up on him. Those weren't just rushing attempts, they were statements of intent, declarations that the Viking running game doesn't just survive adversity, it feeds on it like ancient Norse warriors feeding on the fury of their enemies. Kevin O'Connell doesn't just rotate running backs because of strategy. He does it because he understands that championship football is built on depth, on having warriors ready to answer the call when the battle turns brutal. Jordan Mason has been carrying the load with the heart of a berserker, but now Akers stands beside him, to weapons forged in different fires but tempered by the same purple flame. Can you feel the electricity building in Dublin? Can you sense the Steelers' defense trying to prepare for an attack they can't fully scout, can't fully understand? This isn't just about replacing injured players. This is about evolution, about a franchise that turns every setback into a setup for something greater. What other team in this league takes practice squad elevations and transforms them into statements of championship intent? The Packers? They're too busy choking in the playoffs. The Bears? Please. They can't even spell offense correctly. Only the Vikings take broken dreams and rebuild them into purple nightmares for their enemies. Do you believe Cam Akers will be the difference maker against Pittsburgh? Can you feel that old magic returning to the backfield? Comment below and let every doubter know that Viking Nation never breaks. We just reload with hungrier weapons. And just when fans thought the elevation of Akers was the biggest defensive chess move of the week, here comes the next bombshell that cuts deeper into the heart of Minnesota's Warrior identity. Andrew Van Ginkel won't be terrorizing Aaron Rodgers in Dublin, and the neck injury that's keeping him sidelined isn't just another line on an injury report. It's a reminder that even the fiercest Vikings face battles that can't be won through pure will alone. Van Ginkel, the same destroyer who recorded the sacks on just 8 snaps against Cincinnati before his body betrayed his Warrior spirit, the same legend who turned last season into a Pro Bowl masterpiece with 11.5 sacks and 2 defensive touchdowns, now watches from the sidelines as his brothers prepare for war without him. This isn't just about losing a pass rusher. This is about losing the emotional heartbeat of a defense that feeds on chaos and aggression. Brian Flores built his defensive empire around players like Van Ginkel, around warriors who can wreck game plans with a single explosive moment. And now that weapon sits holstered while Dallas Turner must step into the spotlight. But here's what the doubters don't understand about Viking DNA. We don't just have star players. We have star systems. Turner isn't just Van Ginkel's replacement. He's Van Ginkel's evolution, a younger, hungrier version of that same relentless pursuit that makes quarterbacks wake up in cold sweats. The second-year linebacker has been waiting for this moment, training for this opportunity to prove that the Vikings draft for depth, not just headlines. When Van Ginkel returns, and he will return because Viking warriors always heal stronger, Turner will have proven that Minnesota doesn't just develop individual talent, they develop collective destruction. This neck injury isn't ending a career, it's launching another one. And Aaron Rodgers should be more worried about the hungry wolf replacing the injured alpha than celebrating the temporary absence of his nightmares. The question isn't whether Van Ginkel will be missed, it's whether Dallas Turner will make us forget why we were worried in the first place. Are you ready to see Turner break out on the biggest stage? Can you feel that next generation of Viking destroyers taking their rightful place? Hit that like button if you believe our defense runs deeper than any single player. And let Pittsburgh know that wounded Vikings are the most dangerous Vikings of all. Stay with me, because what comes next will flip the script in ways nobody predicted, and it reveals the secret formula that separates Kevin O'Connell from every other coach trying to crack the championship code in this brutal league. The Vikings head coach has finally pulled back the curtain on the one statistic that matters more than passing yards, rushing touchdowns, or even points per game. The turnover margin and the numbers that back up his philosophy will make every rival fan base sick with envy. Under O'Connell's leadership, Minnesota boasts an absolutely devastating 26-3 record when they win the turnover battle, a statistical dominance so complete that it borders on the supernatural. This isn't just about protecting the football or creating interceptions. This is about understanding that championship football is won and lost in the margins. In those split-second moments when games pivot from victory to defeat, O'Connell doesn't just preach ball security. He's created a culture where every snap is treated like a life-or-death struggle for possession, where every defensive play is an opportunity to steal dreams from the opposition. When he says that winning the turnover battle gives Minnesota a good chance to do what's necessary to win, he's not making predictions. He's stating mathematical certainty based on 3 seasons of proven dominance. Brian Flores has transformed this defense into a turnover-generating machine that led the entire NFL, with 33 takeaways last season, and they've started this year ranked 3rd with 7 forced turnovers in just 3 games. This isn't accident or luck. This is systematic destruction of opposing offenses through pressure, confusion, and relentless pursuit of the football. Every blitz package, every coverage disguise, every exotic formation is designed with one purpose: make the quarterback panic and make mistakes that become Minnesota touchdowns. Do you realize what this means for Sunday's battle in Dublin? Aaron Rodgers might be complaining about travel schedules, but he should be losing sleep over the statistical inevitability that his turnovers will determine his team's fate. The Vikings don't just play football, they play mathematical warfare, and the numbers never lie. This is what championship DNA looks like, not hoping for breaks, but creating them through systematic excellence. Can you feel that turnover-forcing energy building for Dublin? Are you ready to watch Brian Flores unleash hell on Aaron Rodgers? Smash that subscribe button if you believe in the science of Viking victory. Because when mathematics meets Minnesota magic, opposing offenses become nothing but turnover statistics. But trust me, the night isn't over, because the next chapter is pure shock, and it's heading straight for the future of this franchise in ways that could revolutionize special teams across the entire NFL. Wow. Other teams are chasing flashy free agents and overpaying for big names. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is quietly targeting a weapon that could provide the most explosive value in all of professional football. Meet Trey Vaval, the 25-year-old dynamo currently tearing apart the Canadian Football League with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And if you haven't heard his name yet, you're about to witness the birth of a legend. This isn't just any returner. This is a Minnesota State Mankato product who has recorded for return touchdowns this season alone, including a mind-bending 128-yard field goal return that ranks as the 7th longest play in CFL history. Vaval doesn't just return kicks and punts. He transforms them into weapons of mass destruction that can flip games in the span of a heartbeat. The NFL has revolutionized kickoff returns this season, creating more opportunities for explosive plays, and return rates have skyrocketed from 32.8% to 77.5% in just 1 year. This isn't just statistical noise. This is the league creating a market in efficiency that brilliant general managers like Adofo-Mensah can exploit for massive competitive advantage. Remember that this franchise has a legendary history with returners. Cordero Patterson with 9 return touchdowns, Marcus Sherrills with 5, Percy Harvin with 5 more, and together they've given Viking Nation 25 return touchdowns this century alone. Now imagine adding Vaval to that legacy, a player who has already proven his explosion in professional football, and whose college connection to Minnesota creates the perfect cultural fit. This isn't just about finding a returner. This is about finding the next game-changing weapon that can single-handedly alter the momentum of playoff games, Super Bowl runs, and championship dreams. When Adofo-Mensah talks about finding market inefficiencies and maximizing undervalued assets, this is exactly what he means. While other teams throw millions at established names, the Vikings could be signing the most dangerous returner in North America for a fraction of the cost. Can you picture Vaval in purple and gold turning every kickoff into a potential house call? Are you ready for the next chapter of Minnesota return specialists? Comment below if you want the Vikings to bring the CFL superstar home, and let the front office know that Viking Nation demands explosive special teams that change the game. And listen closely. The next 72 hours might be the most decisive in this franchise's history. But first, we need to address the pathetic whining coming from the enemy camp. That proves everything you need to know about the difference between Viking warriors and Steeler pretenders. Aaron Rodgers has spent more energy complaining about his travel itinerary to Ireland than preparing for the defensive hell that's about to consume him in Dublin. And his petty grievances reveal exactly why this Minnesota team is built for championship greatness. While Pittsburgh remains trapped in mediocrity, while Rodgers whines about not arriving early enough to sip Guinness and play tourist, the Vikings have been focused on one thing: warfare preparation that will leave the Steelers wondering what hit them on foreign soil. The man who claims to have Irish heritage and wants to taste authentic Guinness is more concerned with vacation planning than game planning, and that attitude exemplifies everything wrong with a franchise that thinks reputation can replace preparation. Meanwhile, Kevin O'Connell has his Warriors ready to prove that turnover margin decides championships. Brian Flores has his defense primed to force the exact mistakes that have haunted Rodgers throughout his career. And this entire organization has embraced the mentality that every game is a chance to make a statement. Rodgers can enjoy his Guinness after the game, assuming he's conscious enough to taste it after Dallas Turner and the rest of this purple defense finish making their introductions. This is what separates championship cultures from tourist mentalities. What distinguishes teams that travel to win from teams that travel to sightsee? The Vikings didn't cross an ocean to sample local cuisine. They crossed an ocean to deliver a beating that will echo through both franchises for the rest of this season. When Sunday's battle ends and the dust settles on Croke Park, Rodgers will have plenty of time to explore Irish history, while the Vikings celebrate another victory in their march toward playoff dominance. This isn't just about winning a football game in Dublin. This is about proving that Viking DNA travels better than any other franchise. In professional sports, that Minnesota toughness translates to any field, any continent, any battlefield where champions are forged. Do you think Rodgers will still be worried about Guinness flavors after our defense introduces him to Irish pain? Can you feel that purple and gold invasion ready to conquer Dublin? Hit that like if you believe Viking warriors don't need tourist time to dominate enemy territory. And if this week felt like an earthquake, what's coming next could be the aftershock that topples the whole season. Because these 5 revelations aren't just news stories. They're prophecies of purple destiny that will define everything about Minnesota's championship pursuit. Can Akers rising from practice squad purgatory to answer the call when Aaron Jones fell? That's not roster management. That's divine intervention showing that this franchise doesn't just survive adversity. It transforms pain into power. And Ruvan Ginkel's neck injury forcing Dallas Turner into the spotlight. That's not a setback. That's evolution accelerating the development of the next great Viking pass rusher. Kevin O'Connell revealing that turnover margin is the mathematical key to victory. That's not strategy. That's scientific proof that this coaching staff has cracked the championship code. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah targeting Trey Vaval as the next explosive returner. That's not speculation. That's preparation for a special teams revolution that could change the trajectory of playoff games. Aaron Rodgers complaining about travel schedules while the Vikings prepare for war. That's not coincidence. That's the universe showing exactly which franchise is built for greatness and which one is built for excuses. This Sunday in Dublin isn't just another international game. It's the moment when Viking Nation proves that our Purple Army conquers every battlefield, every continent, every challenge that dares stand in our path to championship glory. If you believe that the Vikings are destined for something special this season, if you can feel that championship energy building with every practice squad elevation, every injury overcome, every statistical advantage revealed, then you need to prove it right now. Hit that like button so hard it breaks the internet, and let every Packers fan, every Bears pretender, every Saints fraud know that Viking Nation is rising and nothing can stop this purple tsunami. Subscribe to this channel because you're not just following football news. You're joining a brotherhood of warriors who understand that being a Viking isn't just about supporting a team, it's about embracing a way of life that never surrenders, never accepts defeat, and always finds a way to turn obstacles into opportunities. Comment below and tell me which of these 5 revelations has you most excited for the battle in Dublin. Is it Cam Akers proving that practice squad warriors can become playoff legends? Dallas Turner stepping up when Van Ginkel fell? O'Connell's mathematical mastery of turnover warfare? Adofo-Mensah's genius pursuit of special teams explosiveness? Or the beautiful sight of Aaron Rodgers crying about travel accommodations? While our Vikings prepare to dominate, because what comes next is even bigger, even more explosive, and if you think this week was wild, wait until you see what Monday's headlines bring to this championship campaign. That's just getting started.